I told you we were going to systematically solve this problem through entrepreneurial spirit and through our value of prosperity. And the person who's going to answer that question for you is not me. He's the individual that I sit in the room with and come up with sometimes just crazy ideas. The very solution you're about to hear about next, the answer to the question that I presented to you, was me sitting in a room with this individual and a few members of our corporate team, and me saying, I have this expression in our office, I say the path is all math. Meaning there is some mathematical equation to solve this problem. What is it? If you could pose the question, then you can answer it mathematically. And I learned that having heard about the story of how Einstein solved the theory of relativity, because he just kept asking himself this question. One night he woke up in his sleep. Now I'm not trying to compare myself to Albert Einstein, but I did have a sleepless night in Longview, Texas, thinking, how can us parents who can't afford to lose the weight, who know that we need to, on behalf of the children in our society and in our families, how can us parents pitch in and do our duty? My grandmother, who you saw the picture of last night, she's 98 years old, she told me of a time that when we were in World War II, when her husband, whom she just had met, and got married, I think it was within 2 months, had been drafted overseas to go fight in the war. She told me at that time America was called to a duty, and that people would donate their pots and pans, their aluminum. They would volunteer. That everyone was chipping in our society to do their very part to make sure that we were able to preserve our society, preserve our democracy, and solve the largest crisis that was facing us at that time. She told me of that draft. She told me of the volunteerism. She told me of her commitment. And she'd share with me her scrapbook, how she would track it, the letters that would come once every couple months from her new husband. She told me of that level of commitment. And I was reflecting that night in Longview, Texas, how it's going to take that level of commitment from us to solve this very crisis. That level of volunteerism, that level of focus, that level of commitment. So, I went into the office after that night in Longview, Texas on the Founders Tour, and I grabbed my right-hand man, the person who takes some of my crazy ideas and makes them better. And I said, Blake, we have to solve childhood obesity. And it's got to be done by us parents. And it's got to be done within the New Body by Vi 90-Day Challenge. It's got to be seamless. Meaning every time someone takes off weight who can't afford to, we got to help someone who can't afford to. And mathematically, I think that if we're able to do that, if we're able to find the economics, the system, if we're able to channel the spirit of our 75,000 promoters, of our millions of customers, if we're able to harness that entrepreneurial spirit, I think we might be able to solve this problem.